Okay, Hannah, I'm gonna break this up into two parts. One is for stretching, and then I'll do a separate video for getting some strengthening in too. So this is gonna focus just on stretching right now. All right, so the first thing is just to get your lower back moving a little bit as symmetrically as possible. So you'll just lay down on your back. Let your hands, circle of your palm, come to your knees, elbows close to the ribs. And just holding the knees right over your hips right now. You take a few moments just to kind of feel the difference between right side and left side. You might even want to do a little rock ever so slightly. Just enough to feel your left pelvis, the right pelvis. And then take a deep breath in. And as you start to exhale, pulling your knees forward towards your chest, your thighs to your belly. You can open your knees a little bit apart if you want to. And just feel your body sort of rolling up the lower back. And just, you may notice that one side feels a little different than the other, and that's fine. And then as you start to inhale, you want to start to take your tailbone towards the floor. Your arms are going to straighten out, and you might even get a little bit of an arch in your back, and that's good too. And then as you start to exhale, bend the elbows, pull, feel yourself rolling up the pelvis. Feel yourself rolling all the way up as far as you can go till you don't have any air left. And as you start to inhale, feel how the back, the muscles, and into the bone of the pelvis feel as you release, arms straighten. So this is fairly slow and just moving. It's more about what you're just noticing. The difference right side, left side. One side in the pelvis may feel bonier, or the muscle may feel a little bit different as you come up into the back. That's fine. We're just giving it a little wake up, that's all. So you want to do this 10, 12 times. Taking your time to do this. And once you've finished, go ahead and let your feet just rest on the ground. You're going to take both feet and kind of heel toe them over to the right. Try to bring your knees and your ankles together. What happens is the left knee, right now my left knee is dropping out. We want to really hold that left knee in very close. You may even feel it on the inside of that left groin as you press the knee in. Letting your arms open out, reach overhead, right hand grabs left wrist, and you just sort of pull your body a little bit to the left. And just taking a few breaths here. Not doing anything other than just take a few breaths. See if you can really expand through the left side of your body. Couple more. And then after maybe 4 or 5 breaths, release. You heel toe everything back to center. Straighten yourself out as much as you can. And then once again, draw your knees in. You'll do maybe 2 or 3 of these up and downs that we started with. And after 3 or 4 of those, you'll heel toe to the left. This is the side that you're having trouble with, the right side. So now we'll close the right knee into the left. Again, you may feel it high up into the groin. Knees and ankles are as close together as possible. Take both arms overhead, reaching up. Left hand grabs right wrist and just very passively taking a few breaths here. You want to have the sensation that you're almost trying to fill up the right side of your body more than the left side. You've got a little side crunch going here, very light, but just keeping those knees pressed together through 3 or 4 more breaths. And then release, heel toe back to center. Draw knees into the chest and just going up and down the back a few times again. After that 3 or 4 times, go ahead and release completely. Take the arms back out to a T. Draw the knees to the chest and coming over onto your right hip, rolling all the way over until your knees are stacked. So the left knee isn't behind the right knee, they're stacked over each other. I'm gonna turn so you can see what I mean. This would be my right knee stacked behind my left. I'm sorry, my left behind my right, and this is the knee stacked over each other. That's gonna pull the left hip directly on top of the right. So once you've got them stacked up here, just gonna take the left arm and reach out in front and pull your elbow like you're pulling something backwards, pulling your elbow back, not the arm, just the elbow. Check your knees and make sure that that left knee stays directly stacked. That stacks the left hip over the right, and then just punching and reaching forward as far as you can. And then again, imagine you're pulling something back, left knee goes forward, left elbow goes back, reaching way forward. So you'll do this 2 or 3 times on this side. Once you've finished, rolling onto your back, pause for a few seconds, just here. Don't have to do anything right now, just completely still, feeling both feet on the ground, back of the pelvis, taking a few moments, and then rolling onto your left side. I'm just going to turn to face you. And this time you'll be on your left side. Again, the knees are stacked, straight line on the kneecaps, kneecap right over the other kneecap, right hip directly over the left, and reaching forward with the right hand, pull the right elbow back as you send the right knee forward, and then reach again. So on the first side, you did that 3 or 4 times, and on this side, you'll do it 5 or 6 times. Really reach until you feel you're coming right out of that shoulder. Right elbow pulls back, right knee presses forward. Couple more times. So we want to do this side a few more times than you did the other. And then we'll go ahead and release. You'll turn onto your back again. And this time we'll go up and down the back a few times, just like we did before. Elbows in, knees close, going up and down. So after that, take a slow roll over onto your back. Don't come up too fast. And I'm gonna get a blanket for my knees because my knees are always hurting. Okay, back again. So what we'll do this time is finding that tabletop. I know you've done this before. So what we're going to do this time is just sit back into a little bit of child's pose, wake up the knees a little bit because they have to be weight bearing, and just sitting back as much as you can. So for myself, I keep my knees about this distance apart. I've got maybe 3 or 4 inches between my knees. If you want to open your knees up a little bit more, that's great. What we don't want is for the knees to be way out. Trying to keep them as close together underneath you as you can get. And then sitting back into your heels as much as you can. You're gonna let the hands walk out and lining the spine straight up the middle. So as we start to come forward, we want to make sure we're not leaning to the right or to the left, but really trying to come straight down the middle. Walking your hands out as much as you want to feel comfortable. And then we'll go ahead and rise all the way back up. If you're all right with that in your knees, what we're going to do now is making sure the hands aren't too much underneath. See, I'm already in an arch in my back. Making sure the hands are well out in front of you. If anything, they can be slightly ahead. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my right knee. No, I'll start with my left. I'm going to take my left knee and I'm going to slide it back about 2 or 3 inches. So I've gone from even to about 2 or 3 inches back. Feet are apart, so I haven't crossed my toes. My feet are in line with my knees, not crossed, in line with my knees. I'm going to slowly start to sit back, and the urge is going to be to shift to the right. I want to keep my tailbone lined up directly in between my heels. Going back as far as I can, you'll start to feel some pull on this side, and then coming up again. And we'll do that again, taking the hips back, resisting the urge to shift to the side. So what I'm saying is resisting the urge to shift sideways, keeping the hands on the ground, tailbone right in between the heels, not letting these hands move at all. So we're not sliding the hand back, keeping the hands pressed to the floor, tailbone in between the heels, and then coming back up. So we'll do that 2 or 3 times. Left knee back, coming down, and then on the maybe third or fourth time, we're gonna sit back, we're gonna stay, and just breathe here. Tailbone lined up, you can look underneath yourself to see. Hands are still reaching forward, and sitting down as close as you can to your heels. Just taking a few breaths. And we'll go ahead and come all the way back up. Walk your hands forward. Let yourself just sort of roll down to the floor, hand to elbow underneath, and take a few breaths. And then we'll come back up. Knees back underneath, and this time we'll go to the right side, the side that you're having a little more trouble with. Now make sure, again, my hands aren't way underneath me. They're a little bit in front. I'm going to take that right knee and shift it back. Start sitting back, feet are in line with my knees, so they're not crossed. Tailbone in between the heels, aiming straight back, and then inhaling forward. Exhaling, coming straight back, tailbone in between the heels, and coming forward. And one more time, straight back. And this time we'll hold. Sliding yourself back up. Draw that right knee back in, walk your hands forward, coming down onto your belly, elbows open, and just take a few breaths. We'll come back up. Same side again. Right knee slides back. 2 or 3 times coming back. After the second or third time, come back and hold. And this time, finger, hand, palm, your hands around to the to the left. Reach with that right hand as you're walking. Notice I'm not letting my body tip. I'm keeping my tailbone in between my heels. So I'm not letting my body tip in one direction or the other, keeping my upper back nice and flat, and heel toeing or fingering, that didn't sound good, my hands around to the left. Sitting back. Now we'll sort of shift that right seat bone over to the right heel. Right seat bone towards right heel. Take a few breaths, and we'll rise back up, walking those hands around. And then sitting down, walking yourself forward again, and letting yourself take a few breaths. So on that last one, ignore the fingering part. On that last one, we've been aiming the tailbone in between the heels. So we did left side, a break, right side, a break, come back to that right side again. As you bring those fingers, those hands around to the side, reaching with that right hand, now we're going to shift the right seat bone towards the right heel instead of trying to stay down the middle. And you might feel it all the way up into the ribs and really deep into the hip. So those are some just basic non-weight bearing stretches that you can do so you're not standing. So if your hips are already kind of out of alignment, sometimes it's tough to see what's happening when you're standing. So doing things on the ground sometimes helps a lot. So there is one other stretch we can do if you feel like you can tolerate it. And that would be